Sometimes a new AI tool comes out and I find myself thinking like, oh, that's cool. But like, I don't know how to apply it to my actual life. So in this video, I'm going to show you 4 actually useful and free tools
We're excited to show you our native speech capabilities.
that I can use within Google AI Studio. So the way that you access Google AI Studio is you go to aistudio.google.com. So I decided I wanted to start with, I think, the most helpful feature, and then I'll end with my favorite feature. So let's start with most helpful. So what we're going to do is go to chat with models over here. And then if you go over to the bottom here, you can like type a prompt. So if you use tools like, Gemini or ChatGPT, you're used to prompting. But what I really like is grounding with Google search. And I have an example to show you just how powerful that is. One of the reasons why some people don't like talking to, chatbots and LLMs is because they can lie, which isn't good when you're trying to learn something new or get something accomplished. So if I turn that off and I ask a simple question like, what year is it? To run it. So it thinks that it is currently 2024 because the way a lot of these chatbots work is that they just rely on data sets. So for example, it's just looking at the data that it has when it was last trained and it like comes up with an answer. But now I realize when you use grounding with Google search over here and you toggle that on, and you ask the question, the same question of what year is it, what it's going to do is it's actually going to check its answer with the web. So when we ask what year is it, it's thinking and it says it's currently 2026. So still, when you use grounding with Google search, it's still not perfect. I mean, one of the things that I was learning with an LLM was like how to invest. And there's so much information on investing that like maybe 2026 information was not needed, to understand the basics. As you can see, grounding with Google is really powerful. And anytime you need real-time information or facts, I find it so incredibly like a must. Now, something else you can do within Google AI Studio that's free and actually useful is creating your own mini app. So what you're going to do is we're back on aistudio.google.com and we're going to click on new app over here. Okay, so what I want to show you first is if you don't know where to start or how to word anything, I love the I'm feeling lucky button over here just because it does a couple of things. It shows the language that it's used to, like create a cross-platform social media content generator. And then something else that I like that it does is it shows you what it's using. So it's using Nano Banana Pro, control image aspect ratios, Gemini intelligence in your app. So they have all these different options down here that like maybe you're using a voice app. So you're going to use one of the voice options down there. For example, create conversational voice app. But yeah, I love these different options that you can just add if you think it will be useful. But what I'm going to do is last year, what I did was I kept a list of accomplishments, and I really liked that because it was a great way to motivate myself. Sometimes I think I'm not doing enough. So when I see that, it's like, chill, you are doing enough. So I'm going to do that this year, except this time, instead of just using something like, a Google Doc and writing the accomplishments there, I've coded my own app before as well that I just use to keep track of accomplishments. But what I want to do is actually vibe code an app because I want to add more features to it and quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the microphone over here to do speech to text. I want you to create an accomplishments tracker where a user can add an accomplishment, which will include the date, the title, what the accomplishment was, and they have the option to add a photo or a video. I want this to be super motivational. I was rambling a little bit, but let's just see. Let's build it. Why I think creating your own mini apps is cool and useful is you can really customize something like 100% how you want it, and you don't need coding abilities. Now, of course, these are simpler apps. If you want something that's very complex, it's going to take some coding knowledge. But for something like the accomplishments tracker that we were talking about, it's something that's motivational, helpful, and you can totally create it with just human language. So yeah, I think finding things in your life that you want to automate or that you repeat every day or week could be something that you could create your own mini app for. So another thing that I like is it's create a streaks motivation feature. That's pretty cool. Let's go back to that. Boost user motivation by tracking consecutive days or weeks. I actually really like that streaks thing. I'm going to actually add that here. And then we'll wait till it loads and then actually add that. You're doing amazing. Thank you. I needed that. Okay, allow. Log your first victory. Finish my first 5K run. I love how they give you an option. I would say recording this I'm not even typing. Oh, it's like it wrote the text in white. So this is actually a great point because what I can do is I can actually use annotate app over here. Let's circle and say what we can do is add some text. Let's add the text here and say text should be black so we can read it. It's currently white. Okay, so we can do that. That's a little bit hard to read as well, but let's add to chat. Okay. Let's remove that. We'll do the streaks later and say fix this. And let's send it over. That's the thing with vibe coding as well. It's not something that is super quick. So for example, with my victory vault, this is something I'm probably going to keep building over the next month when I have some free time. Let's see if it fixed it. Yay. Okay, perfect. And store and vault. I like that store and vault. And then it's stored over here as well. Yeah. Okay, so another free feature that you can use within Google AI Studio that I feel like is actually useful is under the What's New category, and they have turn text into audio with Gemini. So I'm going to click that over there. So why I think turning text into audio is useful is because I'm someone who loves audiobooks. So sometimes when I'm reading something, it's just way more enjoyable and I actually get through it faster if I have like someone reading it out loud. So that's why I really like this. And it's also just great if you're multitasking. So you could still like read the article while you're like doing your hair. So they give some examples over here. So you can use it for like an audio voice assistant, a movie scene script, podcast transcripts. You can also like change the voices over here and things like that. So what I'm going to do is let's show you what it looks like when you just run it out the gate. So basically what it's going to do is we gave the instructions of read aloud in a warm, welcoming tone. There's 2 speakers. And basically, here's the script.
We're excited to show you our native speech capabilities, where you can direct a voice, create realistic dialogue, and so much more. Edit these placeholders to get started.
Okay, cool. So it felt like the same voice, if I'm not mistaken. But what I like to do is change this and be like, read at 3x speed, because that felt a little bit slow, right? Also, speaker 1 speaks in a Nigerian accent, and speaker 2 speaks in a British accent. Okay? And I don't know why they sounded so similar. Let's just change it to something else. Okay? Let's run it over here. And it does take a while. So if you do add like a longer PDF, I usually like go do something else. And then when I hear it like,
hello, we're excited to show you our native speech capabilities,
where you can direct a voice, create realistic dialogue, and so much more. Edit these placeholders to get started.
So that's really cool. So like, yeah, real use cases is articles that you're reading. Also, if you're reading like a script or something like that. But what I would probably do for a script is create my own mini app, just because you'd have to put it in this like speaker 1, speaker 2 format. It's also nice for any of those actors out there. If maybe you need to hear an accent for certain words, so you can put your own scripts there and things like that. Give this video a like, oh, if you think my accent is better than chats. Another AI studio tool that I love is analyzing videos. It's amazing that Google AI Studio can do this because a lot just can't handle that much data. So for example, if we go over to video here, what we can do is actually so what makes this useful is, let's say they use a lot of like sports examples, like let's say you're playing golf and your swing, you're not doing as well as you would like. It could maybe improve your form. I'm going to use in this case for a YouTube video and say, how can I improve this YouTube video? So then we can go over here, YouTube video, YouTube URL. Nice, loaded it very fast. Save. How can I improve my YouTube video? And what did I do well / could do better? And then run. Let's close that. Yeah, the lighting was not good. But yeah, that's so cool. So I can actually dig into this. So I love analyzing videos like this. Actually, I have a video on my channel where I talk about Gemini 3, and it wasn't with Google AI Studio, but with the Gemini app. I uploaded an accent and it knew what accent it is. So this is just a super cool tool, and I feel like it's actually useful. So one of the reasons why I really like the analyzing videos and I feel like it's useful is just because like I'm someone that's learning finance right now, and there's a group of YouTubers, there's a group of, people who wrote books that I like trust. So it's like I want to pull information from those and not just all over the web. So I really love that I can analyze, videos on your computer. Maybe it's from like a lecture or something like that, and also videos from YouTube. And you can also ask questions about what's in those videos, which I also think is really helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.